Hi, ladies. Welcome to the circle.
Hi, Delphine.
Hi.
Hi, Delphine.
Today, we've got Rose Burton, Carmella Phillips, and Julia Posgunther. So, ladies, I think you know, these roundtable discussions gives us an opportunity to catch up, to talk about what's going on, and you guys have so much going on. We've all been running in the same circles for a long time, and your faces are not unfamiliar. But I really fell in love with you ladies when I got invited to learn more about the Love Tribe project and to hear about what it is that you guys are doing and the impact that you're making. But before we launch into that, let's just go around the table and everybody just give a little introduction. So Rose, let's start with you.
Well, Rose Burton, here in Laguna Beach. I'm a mother, wife, and a business owner. Trident, remodel homes. And I've been involved in the community with both the girls for many, many years. And I'm so honored to be involved in this Love Tribe project, especially.
And I've heard soon to be grandma.
Yes.
Yay, so exciting.
Yeah,
So exciting.
Yeah, amazing.
I should say glamma.
Glamour. For sure.
Carmella, tell us about you.
Thank you, Delphine. I'm Carmella Phillips. I'm originally from Australia. I've been living in the community for a long time. I've known these ladies for many, many years. We've been involved in other philanthropies. I'm a single woman and I have two beautiful grown children, and I'm so passionate about the Love Tribe project. I'm also a Kundalini and Vinyasa yoga teacher.
Yay.
And prior businesswoman, but that was a long time ago.
And world traveler.
Yeah, well,
throw another love title in there. Julia, tell us about you.
I'm Julia Posgunther. I was actually born on a little Greek island, many miles from here. I've been living in the community for many, many years. I'm a wife, a mother, and a business owner. I've had my business since 2004. And my passions are philanthropy, and I'm honored to be a part of the Love Tribe project.
Yay. All right, so we got to start with you, Carmella, because this all started after you returned from an incredible trip to Kenya. You came back very impassioned. Tell us what happened on that trip.
I'd love to, Delphine. So yes, I was in Kenya twice in 2019, and it was during the new year of 2020 that I met some Maasai people, and I was captured by their beautiful jewelry. Some of it are here and some of it that we have. And I met a Maasai man and we became friends. And he gifted me something really special. This is a ceremonial stick. And this could feed his family for a month. Wow. But he gave this to me. And it really touched my heart when I learned that his wife and the other women and the children in the village were walking 18 miles every day just to get water. And that's all they did. And it really spoke to me, even though a lot of us have heard about people walking for water. When you meet somebody that's actually doing it, it's just, you can't get your head wrapped around it. So when I came back, Julie and Rose came to one of my yoga classes and we started chatting. The next minute I know they're like, yes, we want to help. And we basically started thinking how we can start to help these people and raise enough money to fund a well for them. The rest is history. It's a pretty amazing story, but that's how it started.
Well, Julia, I know that you have been involved with philanthropy for a long time, since 2004, been part of the Orange County Second Harvest Food Bank.
Yes.
And you also have a business. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a lot going on.
Yes.
What made you so passionate about jumping in to help on this?
The need, after talking to Carmela in her travels, and I have never been to Africa. I am going in March, and I'm very excited about that. Mm-hmm. But when she's telling me about these women and children that have to walk for water for so many miles, and to get clean water, which we take for granted. We turn on the shower, we walk away, we come back. I think about these things all the time these days. But when she's telling me about these children, and a lot of diseases are from dirty water. Yeah. So, I said, what can we do? How can we help?
Yeah.
And a little bit of money goes a long way.
Yeah.
And to build a well, we needed X amount of money. And I thought we could do this. and help so many people and change generations to come. So I got really excited about creating a foundation. And we named it Love Tribe Project because we wanted love, because it is out of our hearts that we're doing this.
Yeah.
So we created Love Tribe Project, and the rest is history.
Wow. So Rose, I know your amazing sewing skills was a big part of the initial fundraising efforts, because I think that's part of how I got involved. I got told about these masks and showed up to buy some of these masks, and they were beautiful. You've never been to Africa either, right?
I have not been to Africa, but I've seen the need. I too, my family's from Italy, so I go yearly, and from the island of Sicily. And there's a big influx of people from Africa because there's such a great need. Education, water, just basic human needs. But when Carmela started this, and she was doing a little fundraising through yoga, and then we were talking about it, COVID hit. And she's like, I'm going to make masks. Now we're going to start selling them. And I'm like, okay. And just one thing took after another, and we started making them, and that brought in the income, and it just grew from there. It was just a really amazing process, how it just all fell together and got us going.
Yeah, we made over 1,200 masks.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of sewing.
Yeah, Rose would show up with her sewing machine and all organized, and we had like masks and fabric and all the stuff everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, beautiful. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, they were sold in the boutiques.
Yes.
And who would have thought? They just kept asking for more and more and more orders, and these ladies were sewing. I don't sew. I make jewelry.
She's our PR person. She went around got them in the boutiques.
These ladies were so amazing to sit there and make these thousands of masks.
Yeah,
we'll talk about another silver lining of COVID, right?
Right. It was. Actually, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Carmela, tell us a little bit more. You were there. What is the severity of this problem?
So, if you haven't been to Africa, you probably have heard about the Maasai. They're a very iconic people. It's very out of Africa romantic notion of Kenya. But the Maasai people are tall. They wear their red robes. They have this incredible jewelry. They're, amazing to look at. But the situation there is really, really heartbreaking. They were nomadic people traversing across the Serengeti from Tanzania into Kenya with the great migration of all the animals as the seasons would bring water and they'd travel backwards and forwards. Well, we've civilized them and put them in homesteads now, and most of the good pasture land is where the game lodges are because that's where tourism brings the money. So these people are now very marginalized. They're living in areas where there's not a lot of available water. They're walking miles, like it's unbelievable the amount of miles. Now, with that being said, it's mainly the women, and they're carrying it on their backs in these big drums, strapped with the strap around their forehead. And when they get there, if there's not enough water, they'll have to take mud and squeeze the mud. Like, you can't imagine it.
Wow.
Anyway, the thing is, the problem with Kenya, because there are a lot of water charities, and why we started Love Tribe is that none of the big water charities actually build wells themselves. They outsource it. And we couldn't find anyone that would go to our village and build a well in Amboseli in the Seminaria village.
Well, they were taking salaries.
Well, the big water companies,
The big water companies were taking salaries. We didn't want that at all. We wanted all the monies to go straight to the source.
Now that in and of itself is so rare for a charity, because we know that charities make money, but usually there's a fairly decent percentage that goes to administration. You guys don't do that.
No, just a few marketing materials, but really nothing.
Yeah.
But with that being said, just to understand why there's not more activity with water drilling in Kenya is that you have to drill so deep. So these projects are expensive. They're anywhere from 30,000 to 40,000. And the water is deep underground through volcanic rock, 500 to 600 feet. So it's a project with solar panel stations and heavy casings and generators, holding tanks, access stations. So for most water charities, it's a lot easier to go to places like Uganda or India or whatever and pay 7,000, 8,000 and do a hand pump well, right? So a lot of these people, they're very marginalized. Julia's going to talk more about our latest project later. But that's why it's such a need down there. But it's a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah.
But it, like Julia said and Rosa said, it's generational change that we're doing here.
Yes. And where exactly is Amboseli?
It's southern Kenya. It's on the border of Tanzania and Kenya at the base of Mount Kilimanjaro. So all the photos that you see of the elephants and giraffes and everything with Mount Kilimanjaro and the snows, it's right there.
Wow. How many people are living in these villages?
The villages are small, anywhere from like 500 to 3,000 people. But the Maasai themselves, there's 1.5 million Maasai between Tanzania and Kenya in that corridor. I mean, in our lifetime, we could solve the water crisis. It's not like it's that crazy a feat.
Yeah, I mean, when you said 30 to 40,000, I mean, it's not 40 million. I mean, 40,000, that seems doable, right?
It's doable.
Yeah.
You know, we our first project that we funded through our masks was about 30,000 people. That was a village of 3,000. But what's happened is the neighboring villages come. So we're able to, you know, circle out from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the thing is, it's mainly the women and children the most impacted here because they're the ones doing most of the work. The men has very specific roles, so they're involved with the cattle and overseeing things. So it's women, as we
do all the
know,
work.
that do all the grunt work.
Surprise!
Yeah, isn't that how it works? All over the world.
Right? But Julia, in like less than 2 years, you guys have been able to accomplish a lot. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have been able to do.
You know, it's been a really nice surprise how this community has come together and helped us once they figured out what we're doing. And we built a well, we built a school, we're building another massive water project. I'm not going to call it a well because it's going to affect several villages and thousands of people. So we are going to keep going because we want to continue to help these people and the women and children. And like Carmela said, these are generational changes.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just a school because you guys were hiring the teachers,
Yes, we
getting
were.
the uniforms.
Yes, we
and
were.
Building toilets.
Well, kind of important. Yeah.
Infrastructure.
That's
Kind of
another
important.
thing
Yeah.
that we take for granted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really do, yeah.
Yes.
And Rose, why are the schools so important?
Oh, you're teaching a whole new generation. You know, they're living so primitively, and education, you can't take that away from somebody. It just helps the community grow.
And these kids were having to like walk or they probably weren't even going to school, right? Because the schools were so far.
So children 11 and under, most likely were staying in the village, and there's like one teacher to like 75 children because they can't make the 6 to 10 mile walk through the safari. I mean, they're a wild animal, so they are prey. So usually they don't go to a real school that we would consider like a public school until they're about 11 or 12. Oh, wow. So being able to build a school in the village so that they're not behind when they finally do go to the local school, it makes a huge difference.
Wow.
And some villages are in areas where they're not even able to attend the public school, and they need to go to what we would call a boarding school, where they would go and stay there just because it's such a far distance.
Yeah, they can't go back and forth.
Right.
So that's another program, is the child sponsorship program that we started because the family's up impoverished and it doesn't take much to sponsor a child. So you can either sponsor an individual child for $1,200 a year, so you have a child that you can actually take through this schooling, or for $500 you sponsor children in the village. That we've actually had people jump in and do that. But once again, what Rose says, it's the girls that are the most affected, because if the girls are not educated, they get married off at 11, 12 because the families can't support them, right? And then they incur all those sort of problems of having a young body, bear a child, you can imagine. And they have, the older men have multiple wives, so when they pass away, whatever assets they have go to the older son. So the women, again, are marginalized, right? So now they become widows. They've got all these kids to take care of. They walk for water. It's crazy. The other thing that clean water and education do is ending female genital mutilation. It's not
That's still going
circumcision.
on?
It's outlawed, but it's still going on because of these traditions and why education is important, right?
Yes.
So it's mutilation. It happens even in our own country, believe it or not. So it's two small things mushroom out to affect so many other things.
Absolutely.
And I remember you guys telling at the presentation that you did about the kind of women's like empowerment, where the women, now that they're not having to walk for water, can get involved with doing crafts and making other things to sell. Like beautiful jewelry
And
that
we're all
we're
wearing it. We're all
it.
wearing it.
I mean, I went to the event that you guys had, and I bought so many pieces, and I have to tell you that I've given a lot of them as gifts. I gave Renee one.
Yay.
And everybody loves them. They are freaking out of it. And it's so great to be able to tell a story that it was actually, and they're like, are you kidding me? This is actually made in Africa by tribal people. I'm like, yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. You've got them on. So how is this making jewelry tied into what is going on in the village?
Well, it's a way for women to, now that they're not walking for water, they're able to start small businesses.
Yeah.
So this is iconic Maasai jewelry. Believe it or not, these women wear this sort of stuff when they're walking 18 miles for water.
They do.
You can't imagine it. They're amazing.
Well, I wear it to the grocery store.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
The other thing they can do is they actually have money to raise goats or chickens.
Yeah.
They find a way to keep their kids in school. If you give the men the money, the men buy cows.
Damn it.
You give
Can't
the
trust
women the
the men.
money, the women put it towards educating their kids, and it elevates a community out of poverty. In fact, this bracelet here was made by some women that we know, that we have photographs of, that she sent her daughter off to college, like the first girl in the village that went off to
It's a
college.
big deal.
So it's pretty amazing.
So how long does it take them to make these pieces? I mean, they seem pretty intricate if they're making them by hand. Any idea?
I have no idea, to be honest.
But they're all
Well, like,
hand
for
beaded.
instance-
Like these little beads are all. Can you imagine how much time
No.
it takes to sit and just hand bead every little piece?
Wow.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
pretty incredible.
Yeah, the chains come in long chains, and the little medallions
Yes.
come separate, so that's all attached.
They're so pretty.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, Julian, you know a thing or two about making jewelry. Just a little. Just a thing or two. Perfect segue. Tell us a little bit about your company.
Well, I started my company in officially 2010. I was sketching in 2009, but 2010 I created 20 pieces, and I was sending pictures of my pieces to stylists and friends that were in designers, and I was asking their opinion. And within 4 months of starting my business, a stylist became aware of some of the pieces and grabbed them for the red carpet. So Emily Blunt wore my pieces to the BAFTA Awards.
Oh,
And that was just, the rest is history. Kind of blew up.
I
And
love it.
I was involved in the German magazines and international magazines here. So
Wonderful.
Amazing.
thank you.
That's awesome.
How do you sell your pieces now?
So my pieces are sold. I am in boutiques here in Newport Beach. I'm online, and I have one-on-one clients. That's what I'm really working on right now, is creating more of that, because I love working one-on-one with my clients.
Yeah.
So
So it's like jewelry styling.
yes,
So you go in, you
yes.
see what style that works with them, with their
Well,
wardrobe.
they,
and
as
create the
you
pieces
can
for them.
imagine, jewelry is a very personal thing. So when people see something they like and they ask me to tweak it, they want this stone here and this stone. I just made a beautiful ring for a client of mine. He just bought for his fiance. I love doing that because I can customize and it turns out exactly the way they want it. And everybody's everybody loves jewelry. So they smile when I walk in. So it's been, for me, to be creative like this is everything. I love it so much. So
Well, and the holidays are coming.
Yes, that's right.
Coming right up.
We
well,
have
that's
the
right. And they're not tied up on the cargo ships. They're right here. I have plenty of inventory.
She made us a little
So
statement.
yes,
Yeah.
I did. I created the love bracelet for the Love Tribe. I officially made it our official piece. So we sold these, and all the profits went right to the cause.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's so
that was
cool.
my little, yes.
And Rose, I know you had a little bit of jewelry that you've been selling in Aspen, which is your second home. And
Yes.
you guys are creative people here, right? There's no lack of creativity at this table.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the piece you have on is one of your pieces.
Yeah, this is one of my pieces.
That's
and
gorgeous.
I can't sit still. So
No,
I'm
she
not
can't.
remodeling.
When she's not sewing, she's making jewelry.
Or
And
if I'm not sewing, I'm making jewelry. So absolutely.
when I heard the story, you guys, I have to say that I was so impressed by what you guys are doing. But what made it even more incredible to me is the fact that you, Carmela, and you, Julia, have both survived cancer. And
thought.
it was shocking because I think a lot of us, and I'm going to raise my hand, I'm guilty of it too. You know, we kind of make excuses about why we're not getting involved or why we're not doing more at some time. And the fact that you guys have been through so much in your personal life, you know, and still make time to help the world and to help people in the continent of Africa is just blows my mind, and it makes me teary-eyed. But Carmela, tell us a little bit about your journey and what's happened to you.
So yeah, I find it hard to even comprehend that I had 2 different cancers. You know, I consider myself extremely healthy and
You look healthy.
yeah, full of energy and everything. But in 2013, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma just by accident. So I because I have a very holistic way of living, I resisted having the conventional treatment, and I kind of just passed it along. In other words, just kept it under control. Well, then in 2018, I was also diagnosed with ductal carcinoma in situ. So it's a form of breast cancer that is primarily induced by too much hormones. So I just have to put it out there to ladies.
After you told me that, I went and had all my hormones checked and dropped everything
Yeah,
dramatically.
I would recommend that. My own gynecologist had a double mastectomy. I mean, with Julie and I have a personal friend that had a mastectomy. The same cancer. It's very perverse. Over 9 women I know have had ductal carcinoma. So it's very insidious in that there's no lumps. So by the time you detect a lump, it could have metastasized into a worse form. So I was very fortunate because I was undergoing my IV treatment for the lymphoma, and then I felt like a half a grain of rice on the right side of my breast. And my doctor said, oh, it's nothing because you've got the lymphoma, your lymph nodes are weird. But yeah, anyway, you're due for a mammogram. Next minute I know I'm sitting there with the drip for the lymphoma, and I get a phone call that I have breast cancer. Like, it was what? So anyway, all I can say is the darkest of times can lead you into the brightest of adventures, right? So without getting too much into all that, I resisted for so long to have conventional treatment. And when I surrendered, all these things started coming to me. And I would say that, you know, the reason I'm very passionate about helping those that really can't help themselves is because I was given a gift. You know, I was given another chance. I had 2 months to live. I had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's by that point. It had gone into my bones of my legs. I put it all down to sitting with Rose sewing and not working out when we were all locked in our houses, but it was the cancer going crazy.
This was really recent.
Last year. So anyway, all I can say is I'm very blessed. I feel like I've been put on a path. You know, we all have opportunities in life to be present because the universe is always out there. And when things show up, it's whether you say yes or not. So we were presented with this opportunity. I don't know why it was the Maasai people in Africa, but that's what the universe presented. You know, we went down that path. I was happy to give because I feel like I've been super blessed at having another chance of life. And, you know, things have just blossomed and we're being able to help a lot of people. So for me, it's really not about me. It's the fact that I was really lucky and that lesson taught me how to be a better person, to be honest. You go inward, you reflect a lot, you figure out what's important, what's not, right, Julia?
Oh my gosh, so true.
And, you know, you really actually have a much more joie de vivre.
Yeah.
And this whole COVID stuff, like, I'm not living in fear. I probably traveled more during COVID than I have most other times. And you girls know I'm a traveler.
Yeah, you are.
So I just live in the moment and enjoy and
You are an
embrace
inspiration.
all the positive energy. Yeah.
Okay, I got to ask, how are you sitting here with this gorgeous thick head of hair, having just gone through chemotherapy?
Well, yeah. So I was with Julie and some of our other friends, and I was crying my eyes out with the thought that I finally have to have chemo and lose all my hair. And for a single woman, that's not a great thought, especially one that's had long hair her whole life. So we were planning my head shaving party. I went home that night and I just surrendered to the universe. I'm like, I know, look, I've resisted all these years, but you want me to go down this path? Okay, I surrender, I give up. I'm going to just lose my hair and whatever the lesson I'm supposed to learn, I'll go for it. The next morning, Rose calls me. She said, Carmela, I just met with a friend and she had a friend that went through chemo and she wore these ice caps and she saved her hair. And I'm like, what? So she gave me the information. I called the company in Florida and next minute, boom, they overnight air freight me this big cooler bag with 7 caps with instructions to get the dry ice and everything. The next day, Rose is with me at Hoag Hospital, changing out these caps every 30 minutes. It's a 12-hour ordeal to wear them, but it saves your hair. So my oncologist was like, I didn't believe it, but I'm a believer.
Wow.
So for anyone out there,
Yeah.
you don't have to lose your hair.
What's the name of the company?
I use Polar caps,
Polar Caps. Okay.
Polar ice caps, but there's a few others. And City of Hope actually have a unit that you can rent and you don't have to change the caps out like we did. But there are options, and I had one of the strongest form of chemo, anthromycin. That's called the Red Devil,
Yeah.
and you will lose your hair after one treatment. So I now have all this, like a halo of all these hairs growing all around here where the cap didn't fit. It's probably about that long now.
Wow.
So it works. So
It does.
when
Yeah.
people say, oh, it's because you did another chemo, whatever, no, I had the strongest form. Trust me, ladies, you don't have to lose your hair, so
No,
please
it's
spread the word.
fantastic. When I first heard about it, it made a lot of sense. In my past life, I was a hairstylist and had a hair salon here in Orange County. And it basically constricts all the blood vessels and it doesn't allow the chemo to enter that area because the chemo will go into the root and just kill that. And so you usually lose your hair after the first or second treatment. And if you keep it at a particular cool level, it doesn't allow that to enter the hair shaft. And I mean, she went through
5 rounds.
5 rounds, and you do have to keep them on during the treatment, and then anywhere from 3 to 4 hours after. But it is worth it.
Yeah.
And
I love
she has
modern
a full head of
technology.
hair, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we met a lady. Remember we met that lady that had, like, she went
She had
through
gone 24 rounds.
24 and she still had her hair.
And still had her hair.
Wow.
And her dear husband would come in with her, and
Yeah.
because you do have to change them out
Yeah.
every 30 minutes because your body heat wants to melt down
Right.
the ice and the ice caps. But I mean, they're used for migraines, but it just made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And her doctor says, oh, they don't work. And I was like,
We're going to give it a try.
being a
Yeah, we'll show
hairstylist,
you.
I have a gut feeling it does work.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try.
Right.
Yeah.
What can we lose?
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely not hair.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
So-
Wow. So, Julia, could you tell us a little bit about your story too?
Oh, it's the wildest story. I, like Carmela, have been on top of my health game with my workouts and eating clean. And, that's a priority for me. In 2018, I was diagnosed with, on Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve 2018, after I couldn't really walk anymore and my body was starting to shut down. My husband took me to the emergency room and they did a MRI, and the doctor came in after a half an hour and said, well, I have some news for you. You have a massive brain tumor and it's cancer and we have to operate in 2 hours. Well, mind you, this was 2 a.m. And my husband and I looked at each other. We just broke down crying. And we thought, what are we going to do now? I looked at him like, what now? Am I going to die? And he said, babe, you're not going to die. We're going to fight this. So we just sat there in shock for about an hour and a half. The doctor came back in and said, well, we just want to tell you that it is massive. And because of the size of it, it took over about a third of my brain. We need to operate rather quickly, but you do have a little bit of time. I think God looked after me, and it was not malignant. It was benign, but it was still massive. And if I didn't have the surgery, I would die within 2 months. He did tell me that. So we were so blessed to have the news of given a little bit of time so we could find the best. And somehow I ended up with this woman, Candy, here in Orange County, who is a health advocate that got me in touch with Dr. Linda Liao at UCLA, and she is a rock star at what she does. She is the professor at the neurosurgery department at UCLA, and she doesn't do surgeries, but she decided to take mine on because of the tumor size. And so within a month, I was at UCLA having surgery. And you sign all the disclaimers, and, I just didn't know. I didn't know whether I would have nerve damage, if I was going to be able to walk again or talk correctly, or even my thought process. I was worried about that because I was so jumbled when I had the tumor. People were asking me, what's wrong with you? Yeah. And I didn't know. And physically, I was changing too, a lot of weight gain, and they put me on steroids, and I was massive. And, I just didn't know how I would be when I woke up. So I surrendered to God that day as they were wheeling me in. And I said, whatever you want to do with me. And I woke up. He wanted to keep you. So when I woke up, I was elated. I thought, here I am. I'm here. And I feel great. I felt out right after the surgery. Yes, I was drugged up, but I felt like, wow, I'm alive. And I feel better than I felt in years. And so it took about 5 years for that thing to grow that big.
I remember talking to Julia like 2 or 3 days after the surgery, and it was like Julia was back because she had deteriorated so much. We were so worried. No one knew what was happening. And you really, you said you weren't yourself.
No.
But within 2 to 3 days, it was like, wow, Julia's back. It was crazy how quickly that happened.
Now, granted, the recovery was a tough one. I was in bed for about 5 months. And, my friends rallied around me. My husband was amazing. Carmela would come by with fresh celery juice in the morning. Darling, you have to do this. And I thought, you know what? She's right. I'm going to get on top of my health game right now. But that also gave me time to sit and think, because I was in bed for so many months. How do I want my life to look like? And that means taking out as much toxicity as I possibly can in relationships and in my surroundings, my environment. And also, how do I want the rest of my life to look like? How do I want to make a difference? I've been given a gift.
Right.
I've been given the gift of life. What can I do to make a difference and to celebrate this? And number one is waking up with gratitude every day. And this Love Tribe project has actually been a gift for me because I realize how blessed I really am. And these children that are walking for water every day, I mean, my gosh, it's a basic human right.
That's right.
And we live in, this beautiful area and have so much, and we're so grateful of everything that we were given. But to be able to give back to these children in these villages, it does a lot for me in my heart. So it's really a blessing.
You girls are so inspirational. I swear to gosh. I think I told the story and I posted about it. I lost my mom to cancer in February, and it was a very difficult thing. It's hard when you see people that you love, people that you care about that have life-threatening illnesses. And I mean, Rose, as a friend to both of these ladies, I mean, you watched what they went through. You were there at her side in the hospital. How has that experience changed your perception of life?
It was interesting going through it with Carmela. She was just so incredibly positive. And I tell you that I just was like, every day she wakes up and that gift of the present, it is a present. I mean, so I just I was just so in awe by her. And then the whole thing with the Love Tribe project, it just made me go, I want to be on board. I want to do this thing. So, and I too, I lost my mother at a young age, and
You did to
aunts,
cancer, right?
yes, to cancer. So it's always been in the back of my mind, being tested from the age of 25. So it's, it was a gift going through the chemo with her.
Well, you were the gift being there, changing out my caps, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hours.
But
It was
sitting
like-
there and talking and just, talking about what we're going to do next and the masks and how we're going to grow it. I go, you're going to pull through this. It's not going to be a problem. And with a full head of hair.
Yeah, no, that was such a relief because after the first treatment, we're like waiting every day. Is today the day that's going to fall out? Is today, it's today. And then boom, the next 3 weeks, another treatment. So I was always wanting to see if it was going to happen or not.
But we hear that positivity plays an incredible role in healing, right? We're
sure.
understanding that more and more.
Friendship, love,
Yes.
personal connection. I truly believe that's a bigger healer
100%.
than anything.
I agree
When
with
we
that.
support each other and help each other, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I didn't want my cancer to define me. I didn't want to be that person walking around talking about my cancer. Woe is me, my cancer this, my cancer that. I didn't want to think about it because that was something that I was handling. God was looking after me. I was getting it handled. So what could I put my focus on rather than, you know what I'm saying, Julia,
I
being
know
defined
exactly what
by
you're
the
saying.
cancer person? So what I did is, with the chemo, it knocks you out. So for 1 week, you're literally in bed, like you really can't move. But then the 2 other weeks in between the treatment, I was on a plane going to Cabo learning to surf. So I didn't even want to think about it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want to dwell on that. That was to me such a heavy negative thing that I was like, I got it. We got it. We got this handled. Like God wouldn't put us on this path to help all these people if he's going to I always thought that this was more of a lesson for us to teach us something and as a wake-up call maybe in a way, rather than it was going to be our define us in our ultimate demise. You know what I mean? I never thought about it like that. I just always was very positive that there's a bigger purpose here.
Yeah.
So, keep that, like Rose was saying.
But it's interesting because I've actually always felt that travel does that for us. There's something about when you leave your environment and you go into a different environment, it helps to make you feel less focused on our own issues and more open to hearing and seeing what's ever going on in the world. And I know all 3 of you guys are big travelers. You can always tell who are the people who are the biggest doers because they're always the biggest travelers. Carmela, I think you've got something coming up real soon, as a matter of fact.
Rose coming with me, actually. So, on next week, I'm heading to Tulum. Rose is coming, and I'm leading 11 amazing, incredible women on a Kundalini yoga retreat in Tulum, Mexico. I'm a Kundalini and Vinyasa teacher. So it's going to be really amazing to be with so many beautiful women to ignite our divine feminine radiant energies. And we have not only the Kundalini, which has really been a big part of my healing process, but also we've got different shamans and ceremonies happening that are indicative to the Mayan culture. So there's a really beautiful experience. So I'm happy to and excited to be going down there. And just
Tulum
be
is
in the Caribbean.
It seems like such a popular place these days. To everybody I know is going to Tulum.
It's interesting, Delphine, because it's such an energetic center. There are different destinations around the world. And this is Tulum itself because of the water element, which is the feminine creative energy, and the sand, which is quartz crystal. And the water, there's a whole river series of rivers underneath the land that's bigger than the Amazon. Yeah, so there's water below you and
really
around you,
there.
and there's incredible energy to create because second chakra, water energy is a creative energy. So if you can tap into that, so people, they're drawn to Tulum, but that's kind of why. Sometimes they don't know why.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hip and trendy right now. But
It's a very spiritual place.
Yes,
You
it
can
is.
feel
Spiritual
the
place,
spiritual energy as soon as you land there.
I was with Julia and some other friends. We were there last year.
April.
Oh, this year. This year?
April. Yes.
This year?
Yes. So fast. This
Wow.
year.
You were
April.
there this year.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an amazing time.
We did. We really
We did another amazing trip coming up, huh? In March?
Yes, we are. We're going to Africa. I'm very excited. It's my first time there. And we're taking, there's a group of us going.
Yes.
Quite a bit of people have signed up to travel with us. So I'm very excited. I've heard it's life-changing. I can't wait to see
All the work
all the work that we have done.
Yay.
Yes. And also meet these beautiful people because we've been conversing through WhatsApp and they've been sending us pictures, but to actually be there and meet them and see the entire project and see the land that we are helping with water is going to be, I think, a very extraordinary experience.
Oh my
We have 2 spots left.
Do you?
The 2 ladies.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Is
not
it an
that we want-
all-women's trip?
The first one is
Yeah, we what happened was we had this trip planned at the end of March, and then after our fundraiser, we opened it up to do another trip, and all of a sudden, all these gals signed up, so it became a girls' trip.
Okay.
So on the first trip, we do have 2 spots left because there was a conflict with some of the people the women that bought. So you had 2 spots for 2 girls.
Wow. Okay, well, good to know. We're going to put all of this information on the webpage so we can find out more about that. And then, Rose, you just got back from Italy.
I did. I
Italy
just
is
got back
a,
from Italy about a week and a half ago.
Tell us, what's it like over there? I know they were hit bad with COVID. And
They were hit bad with COVID, but you also have to remember their population is 26% elderly. And when I mean elderly, I mean 80 and above.
ooh, those
Yeah.
Italians, they live a long
Yeah,
life,
they
though.
do.
Red wine and
It's the
pasta.
coffee and the pasta, yeah.
Their first set of vaccines back December 6th of last year were the elderly, which started at the age at 80 and above. Ours were 65 and above. So yeah, there's a big difference. But you know that I have a lot of family there, so I go every year to visit. And whether I was in the south or the middle or the north, their rules and regulations were uniform. So it was really nice. I didn't have to guess from one county to the next like I do here. So I felt very comfortable traveling there. So there aren't a lot of tourists right now, but it is a relatively good place to go.
Are things opened back up over there?
They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Julie and I were there
They
over
are
the summer.
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there too over the summer.
That's right, we didn't connect. Too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, we were like,
Yeah, they are strict about their rules, and it's like I said, uniform from top to bottom. So, but I felt very comfortable. So.
well, ladies, there's a little thing that we do on the round table called the favorites. And I was just telling you guys how funny this is, that it's probably one of the things I get the most amount of comments about. So we will have to just talk a little bit about some of our favorite things. And anyone that knows me knows that I am a huge Tesla fan. I believe, Elon Musk picked me to be a brand ambassador, and apparently Carmela too. I'm on my 3rd Tesla. My son's on his 2nd Tesla. But have you heard about the new Lucid EV?
I'm a
It's
Tesla
got my
girl.
attention. I know I haven't said I'm going, but I am going to check it out, because the 2 things that they say about it are 2 things that I would love to see about it, which is, one, it's supposed to be more luxurious than the Tesla. The interior finishes are supposed to be more high quality, a little more luxurious, feel. So bring on the luxury for me any day.
Yeah.
The other thing is the range. The range is smoking the Tesla. The range is up to 515 miles per charge, which I think
incredible.
the highest Tesla is going is about 365, something like that. So that's a big change. So I did contact the company, and I'm going up to do a little meet and greet of the Lucid up in LA.
Elon will be disappointed.
Well, you know what? I'm not a trader quite yet, but if I do decide to pick, I think they're both running about the same time for their
Next release.
yeah. So I've got about 9 months left on my lease, and so that's about how long it's taking to order the new Tesla Plaid, which would be my next version, or the Lucid EV. So I'm going to have to make some decisions, but I'm just saying. Any car got your attention, Carmela?
Well, I have to just give a heartfelt thanks and an acknowledgement to Ferrari of Newport Beach, because Not that I have one, but they stepped it up, and they were one of our major sponsors.
They sure did.
Along with Julia Post Jewelry for our event last week, and that really solidified the traction that we needed to put on this event. It was our first fundraiser, and that was an amazing thing. But, you know, we were like an unknown charity in town, really, for the most part, and I really have to thank them, Ray Burke and the team at Ferrari of Newport Beach.
I saw them at the event.
Amazing, you know, really in gratitude, and they were so happy to give. And once again, you know, to a cause in Africa, halfway around the world. So, I really thank them for their philanthropic
I love when local businesses support philanthropic efforts.
The
I mean, it
community,
really, they don't
yes.
have
I
to
think
do
it's
that, but that
fantastic.
makes a big difference.
Because we did get some no's. We had hit some other luxury car brands, and Ferrari stepped up.
Yay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, yay
Shout
to
out to
Ferrari.
and
Thank you,
Ferrari.
Ray.
Love
and
that,
Julia
yeah.
Post Jewelry.
And Julia
Thank
Post
you so
Jewelry
much.
too.
Yeah,
Happy
thank
to
you.
do it. I'm
Absolutely.
honored to be
Thank
a part of it.
Thank
So,
Yay.
yes.
Well, do you have a favorite car?
Well, I love the car I'm in. I feel very safe in it. It's a G-Wagon, and I love it. Not liking the gas guzzler part, you know, but the other part I really love. I love my car because it's luxurious, but it's still sturdy.
And it's supposed to be really like safe cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got your two babies on board.
They're actually my two Frenchies. I'm a Frenchie mom, and they have their car seats in the back.
They're so cute.
They love sitting up high, and they have their little heads out the window, and so
So
they are
cute.
very. So actually, it's my Frenchie's car, not mine.
Oh, that's so
So cute. It's adorable.
So sweet.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Well, now that my children are off and running, and I'm soon to be a grandmother this spring, I don't have to have one of those mom cars anymore.
No,
so-
you don't.
You've got a grandmother, though.
Yes,
You're right back in it again.
yes, but I'll be riding in style now. I have a Maserati and Ghibli, and I
Nice.
absolutely love it. It's my second one, and
Yay.
I just love everything attached.
I love the new Maserati SUVs. Those are really attractive.
They are lovely too. Yeah,
Seems
they
like
are.
all the luxury cars are coming out with their little high-end sporty SUV versions these days.
Yes.
They are. They really are.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna walk you out to your car. I want to take a look at that. All right, so the other thing that I'm obsessed with that I have to talk about. So there was a small period of time that I was in the hemp business, and I got into the habit of making this hemp body oil. And basically what I'm doing is I'm taking hemp extract, high potency hemp extract, and I'm doing about 20% of that to about 80% of MCT oil.
Ooh.
And you just heat them up. And let me tell you guys, it works for everything.
Wow.
You drink it too?
Well, you can put it in your mouth. It works as lube. But I use it as a body oil. I use it because hemp has a high ability for antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, which a lot of people don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Antiviral?
So you can use it on, so I travel with it because if I ever get a cut or a blister or, you know, anytime you're traveling, there's some need that pops up, it's amazing how it works for everything. So you can make it yourself. I put it in this little bottle. You do need to heat it to about 200 degrees. So usually what I do is I put 20%, 80%, and then I put it into a boiling water. You don't want to boil the oil, but you do want to raise the temperature because that's what gets it to mix together. And then you just put it into a spray bottle. I take it everywhere. All my friends know that I'm quite the hemp oil girl. So just a little tip about some body oil. Yeah, it's fabulous.
Well, I have my little item here, Tom Ford, and it's a Sol Blanc.
Ooh.
It's a body spray oil. It's
I
a little
love
sparkle.
that.
And being in Southern Orange County, and I just love the sun. And you want
So
a
it
little bit of that
sparkles?
glow,
Just a
you
little
know.
bit.
So
Yeah.
it just
And
gives
it
you that
smells
little,
divine.
It smells wonderful.
Ooh.
And
Oh, wow.
keeps you very moisturized. It's
got a glow to it.
Wow. It does.
does.
Kind of smells like vacation.
Isn't it nice?
does.
It's one of my favorites.
Wow.
Go on vacation when you're not on vacation.
Yeah,
A little
that's
bit
a
of
good
that
one.
glow,
Okay, I'll
yeah.
put a little of that into my hemp oil.
Maybe, right? Bit of glitter and glam.
Do you have one, Julia?
I do. Well, I have several, but
Do you?
the one I brought. I can't live without this. It's a Dr. Obagi sunscreen and primer.
Ooh.
So, you only have one step instead of two.
Right.
And you just moisturize your face, then put this on, and then you can put your foundation on. But
Yeah.
it just gives you a little flawless
I love that.
finish. And I love it. I love it.
flawless.
Well, and
Yes.
having been in the cosmetic business for so many years, I always used to tell ladies, if you're going to put makeup on, make sure you use a primer, whether you're putting eye makeup
Oh my
on
gosh,
or face
yes.
makeup on, because things don't last on their own. And the nice thing about this product is you can actually just put powder. If you don't want to do
That's
the whole
right.
foundation,
Absolutely.
you can do just this and a little bit of powder or a little concealer. Great one. I love when you can blend a couple things together, right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Going straight to Rite for L'Oreal Revitalift pads. So yeah, these amazing product. They're like little pads like that. It's like $16 for this. And after you've cleansed the face, just take one of these little pads and rub it all over. It just gets rid of the last little bit. And it's got a little bit of retinol in it. So it's the best kept secret in town. This is already hard to get. So once it's on your show, forget about it. We're going to have to order cases of it and ship it in.
Yeah, I think L'Oreal owes us a sponsorship at this point. Well, I will say, women have always asked me, do I have to go to the department store to buy the best products? And the answer is no. Two of the companies that do the biggest research and development are L'Oreal and Neutrogena, and they always have great products. Not to say that there's not great products in the department store, but I am a big believer that go where the money is, and the research and development is amazing at those two companies. You're always going to find great stuff. Okay, so the other thing, and I thought about this week because I feel like I'm continuing to go to parties and everything. I just keep looking for flowers. Of course, we just put these together this morning, but I think a go-to florist, and I had a new one because living in Laguna for so many years, I used to go to the English Garden, and I love the English Garden in Laguna, but it's kind of far away from me now. So I've been just going to Bristol Farms, and I'm in love with Bristol Farms florists. Do you girls?
They do a good
do you
job.
guys
They
use
do.
that?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's
I
really
love
good,
it,
the guy
right?
that does it.
Yeah.
He's very creative.
Yes.
And it's not the cheapest thing. You kind of hope that you're going to a grocery store, you're going to get a little bit of a discount. I don't know that you're getting that, but I will say their arrangements are beautiful. They always have a ton of flowers, and it's quick, right? So that's my little shout out to Bristol Farms florists.
I love Trader Joe's, to be honest. So a bit more down market.
Right?
No, but their orchids are great. So because I'm traveling, I love to just get a whole bunch of their orchids. They're like $12.99, right? And put them all together. They last 3 months. And you only have to water them a little bit once a week.
Yeah.
So I just
All the
have my
time.
whole house filled with white orchids
Yes.
from Trader Joe's.
Oh, it's a great
my
one.
thing.
And you know what? The one little tip that I learned way back, and I tell everybody, because everybody overwaters orchids, right? And
Yeah,
they wonder
once a
why they
week.
die so quickly.
Yeah.
They're like, mine doesn't last for 3 months. Put an ice cube.
Yes.
And even if you're not doing an ice cube, think about how much water an ice cube is. Orchids need so little
Yeah,
water.
That's right.
They do need
Yeah,
help.
so that's a great
That's a
tip.
good one.
What about you, Rose?
With flowers.
Yeah.
I do Trader Joe's. I
Do
do
you?
orchids as well.
Okay, yeah.
And then I do my roses from Bond's Pavilion because I love white roses. So
And you have a beautiful garden. Do you grow flowers in your garden?
I don't, but I have a huge vegetable
She has
garden.
vegetables.
I grow about everything I eat.
You could feed Africa with the size of that
You could.
vegetable garden.
Yeah, when we were
Yeah, I
doing
love to can my things. Yeah.
When we were doing the mass, Rose would come over with fresh tomatoes and radishes and sage and
arugula
chives.
and
Where's
absolutely.
my
It was
basket?
amazing.
Yeah.
Now you tell me.
Food to tell.
Could place my order before she came. What about you? What are you into?
Well, I love making arrangements, and I do for special occasions. And I love Trader Joe's as well. But if I'm sending flowers, there's a company that's local, and you've seen the hat boxes with the flowers. I'm obsessed with those. They do such a beautiful job. They're pave flowers in a hat box
Yeah.
from, I think they're called L'Amour Toujours.
L'amour toujours.
They're
You can order
absolutely-
online?
I found them on Instagram, and you can get a hold of them through Instagram. And they make the most beautiful arrangements. Everybody that has gotten one of those arrangements
Yeah, they're
is
gorgeous.
thrilled. And the way I learned about them is when I was recovering from my brain tumor, the Second Harvest Food Bank sent me one, and it was amazing. And it took my breath away.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is this company? So when I looked them up, I found them. They're local.
I love it. I'm going to
good
still do
to
that.
know.
Yeah.
That's going to be
They're
my
amazing.
go-to.
Wow.
I'm going to
Yeah,
use
It's
that.
amazing.
Yay. Well, ladies, before we let you go, it's been so fun catching up and hearing all about what
It's
you're
been
doing.
fun.
Give us a little, if people are listening about the Love Tribe, they want to learn more about it, they want to get involved, what should they do?
If they want to donate, and I hope we've inspired people to at least donate, with the holidays coming up, $500 would sponsor a child. If you want to adopt a child, obviously because of all the administration that goes behind it, it's $1,200. So we've had people step up. We had actually an author that attended our event. She sponsored twin girls, this adorable little 3-year-old. So we're able to put, a special package together for her for that. So, contact us through Instagram, through Love Tribe Project on Instagram. If you want to just make a donation, you can go to our website. It's lovetribeproject.com/donate. It'll take you straight to the page.
Awesome.
So we really hope that you've opened hearts a little bit. And
they can contact you through Instagram if they're interested in attending the trip. Got 2 spots left?
2 spots left, or if you're local here in Orange County and you want to get involved more with us, then we sure welcome the help. So you can reach out to us on Instagram as well.
And they're kind of fun people to hang out with. I don't know.
Just a little bit.
We have had fun in the process.
Awesome. Well, great. We'll have lots more information on the webpage. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on today.
Delphine, thank you
Thank you so
Love
much
it.
for
It's been
having
awesome.
us.
Wonderful. Thanks.
It's been really fun.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Delphine Circle. If you enjoyed the episode, please check out our last 2. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Delphine. Welcome to my circle.